here. I'm now live up there. I'm also going to record this to my computer. Please also realize if my computer kind of slows down or my screen freezes just a little bit, it's nothing against you guys. I am pushing this MacBook Pro about as hard as I possibly can without breaking it. I do have the YouTube stream going in the back. I'm going to kind of jump back and forth so people can ask questions there too, because some people are there. Some people, like my cousins, and maybe my uncle might show up. My uncle happens to work for Miller Public School, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, so we're going to start talking about DNA today. And there might be a few fifth graders that pop in here because we talked about seed dispersal yesterday, and we're talking about DNA and how we need to have space in order for us to grow and develop so we don't have to fight over nutrients. When you think about farmers, it's about planting season. Well, maybe not today, but it is. I saw a lot of them disking and tilling their farms. Probably, if you're on a farm, you're probably getting ready. My wife, who teaches, is laughing at all the kids who live on the farm because she teaches in rural southeast Nebraska. It's kind of funny. She's laughing at how many kids are putting in their assignments a little bit later in the evening, saying, "I'm sorry, but I'm kind of free help at home," which means enforced slave labor. No, I'm kidding. But they're just kind of that way. It's that season. And when we think about how farmers plant, they do plant their rows fairly close, especially corns and beans. But all of those plants have enough space that they can grow and develop, all right? If you think about it with you and your siblings, if you have to share a room, you guys want your own space. I had to share a room with my brother for a number of years. Not that I don't like the kid, but he had his organization style was lumping things in piles. And if you're a lumper of things, more power to you. I try to keep myself as organized as I can, but that usually doesn't always work the best. So when we look at DNA, DNA is our instruction book. So if you're building Legos, that's the instruction booklet. If you read anything of how to put things together, that's it. The DNA that is the same in every single one of our cells is what tells us how we put ourselves together. Now, different cell types read different parts of the instruction booklet, kind of like a factory. Like in a car factory, some people would be putting together motors, some people would be putting together the frame, things like that. In this case, different parts of your body read different instructions to build different parts, but it's all the same in all of our DNA. And it's this weird spiral looking staircase of 4 chemicals that bind together in this twisting shape that they link together. One links with another. A's link with T's, C's link with G's. And you don't have to know that. Don't worry about that. It's kind of like my 2 finger, like my middle finger and my pointer finger. I can't connect them this way because I leave a gap here. But if I turn this over, they complement each other and they link up and make it equal on both sides, even though they're not perfect. All right. When we look at how that works, it twists naturally. We've only known about the structure of DNA for about 70, we're getting close to 75 years of knowing its shape. Think about how important DNA is to us. We don't really understand it that well, especially with things like viruses that are floating around right now that mutate rapidly, like their base pairs change and resistance and things like that go. When you look at this number right here, 3 billion base pairs, that's a lot. And yes, we have completely put together the human genome, all of the letter combinations. It took, look at the number, 2.7 billion, and about 15 years to complete. I remember, I think I was in late high school or early college when they finally got it done. It was a really, really, really big thing. What it would really look like would be this. Okay, you'd be looking at file cabinets in millions of, if you printed one letter, I think I read, if you printed one letter on one sheet of paper, you'd fill like millions of rooms stuffed full with a letter, millions of times over. Okay, this is all you would see. Look at this. This is complete nonsense to you. but to cells, it's the chemistry of life, of how we put things together. There's a lot of DNA, and it's kind of interesting. If we took all of our DNA, tie them together, okay, it would be, oh no, this is one cell, sorry, my bad. It'd be 6 foot tall, but it would be 50 trillionths of an inch wide. It'd be so very tiny wide, but it'd be 6 feet tall. And it says if you were to unwrap all of our DNA, we could go to the moon and back about 6,000 times. Actually, I think that might be moon and back 3,000 times. That is a ridiculous amount of DNA, okay? And that's one normal amount. We're going to be dealing with strawberries today. Strawberries, each cell has 8 times the normal amount. So take that number multiplied times 8, you could get to the moon and back. If we had as much DNA as a strawberry, about a lot of times, okay? So we are really the same as plants and other things. Like we're 50% the same as a fruit fly. You're thinking, no, but when you really think about it, we're segmented, we're broken up in the same way. We have segments of our body, parts of our body. Head, what's thorax, which is the chest part, abdomen, and legs. We have the same basic structure. Look at the ribbing in a fruit fly. We have ribbing in our abdomen. Okay, those who have 6, 8 rectangle packs. Okay, you're 60% the same as a banana and birds. So that means a banana or a bird could take a science test and at least get 60%. And if you have less than a 60%, a banana is smarter than you. That's a little worrying. Okay, you're 85% the same as a mouse. You are 98% the same as your brother or sister. Sorry, my bad. A chimpanzee. Okay, remember we're in the primate family. Okay, we're kind of related, not directly. But remember, we're 99.98, sorry, my bad, 99.8 to 99.9899, the exact same as other people. Okay, all 7 billion of us human beings are basically 99.8% the same. Okay, so that means every single one of you who are sitting here with me today doing this activity, enjoying the science, is 99.8-ish plus %, the exact same as me. I know. And you're all 99.8% the exact awesomeness as me. Well, no, the exact same as me. Maybe not quite, but pretty darn close. But when we really think about it, and I know teachers go, well, this is where Patrick gets on a soapbox. I really kind of do, because I want to think about some perspective. When we think about all of the things in the world and all the bias, the stereotypes, just the general dislike for groups of people, it always makes me wonder why that actually happens, considering genetically and physically and everything else, we're 99.8+% the same. So think about that. The fact that we are 99+% the exact same as each other, but yet there's still pockets of people who can't get along. And a lot of it comes down to just ideology, which means the belief structure that people have, not just religion, everything. Okay. So soapbox ended. Let's get to the fun part. All right. So let's build and take out some scientific strawberry DNA. Here's where we get to the complex part. I'm going to go quickly, but not super quick. Okay. If you miss a step, don't panic. I'm going to go slow and steady. If you're doing this at home, great. That way I'm going to go slow enough for those people. Those of you who aren't doing it at home, I know it might seem like it'll drag a little bit. Just stay with me so we can give those people who are doing it. Okay. Those of you who are doing this, I think there's a little reaction button down there. Can you actually press the reaction button? And I think there's a way to like thumbs up or something like that. Could you do that real quick so I can see how many people are actually doing this, just so I have an idea? There's a little reaction button. It says share screen, reactions, more, chat. If you can push that, that'd be great. That way I can see how many people are actually doing this real quick. Everybody find it? No? Yes? Okay. Like I can press the reactions button and I can have this little clapping hand here or a thumbs up right there. If you can find that grade. A lot of people are, a lot of people aren't. Some people are thinking. Wyatt's raising his hand. That works. Okay. Some are, some aren't, and that's okay. All right. Those of you who are, great. Let's have fun with it. Those of you who aren't, watch along, and you can do this on your own. All right. Like I said, it's okay if you're not doing this. That's fine. Here we go. All right. I'm probably not going to be on screen much, but what I am going to be is I will be live on this right here. Okay. So making sure that this is good. You can kind of see yourselves there. There we go. So what I've got here is I have my little bit of shampoo here ready to go. I've got water because this will mix into this. I have salt because I'm going to make my buffer first. I've got my strawberry. Okay. Oh, they don't. That wouldn't be surprising. They might not have that Probo thing yet. It might be a feature, so not a problem, Mr. Owl. I have my strawberry in a bag right here. Notice it's a ginormous one. I could really only, I could use half of this. Yes, you can use a banana. Strawberries, I use strawberries a lot because they have 8 times the amount of DNA of normal fruits. A banana will work. I think they have 2 to 4 times. Any other fruit we've tried, and I know Mr. Havel can back me up, any other fruit we've tried, we've ran into no success. Okay, there's just not enough DNA. So I'm going to make my buffer here first real quick. So I need 1 part shampoo to 9 parts water. And then I need about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. Now, we happen to have takeout last night, which is great. So I need about a half teaspoon of salt. This, ladies and gentlemen, is about a half teaspoon of salt. You can measure salt in your hand. That's about what you need. If you have a little bit more than that, go for it. Okay, if you have a little bit more than that, go for it. A little bit extra is not going to hurt. You'll dump it. I always dump it into my shampoo first. Okay, and then I'm going to add my water. And that should be about 91. I could always go get more shampoo if I need to. And then I'm going to mix it up. Don't use the good shampoo. Use the cheap, real shampoo. We'll see how this works. This is supposedly a 3-in-1 conditioner body wash shampoo, so hopefully it works. And it's going to be a little cloudy, but notice it's about 10% shampoo, 90% water. Okay, you really don't need much more than about an ounce or 2. Okay, this is a little red Solo cup. All right, you don't need that much. Okay. I probably will only end up maybe using half of that, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to reuse this cup here just because I'm going to need it later. I'm going to put it inside my cup, and then I go to my favorite part and every 6th grader's favorite part of this. All right, I'm going to push the air out here real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully smash my strawberry. All right, don't smash it like you would a hammer. You want to grind up all the pieces that you can. And notice I pushed out all the air I possibly could. I want to grind up all these pieces. Yes, I left the top on it. It doesn't matter because it's going to end up getting filtered out anyway. The more you can smash it into a paste, the better. The more you can take the hard chunk pieces and break them, the better. All right. You might have to like smush it down to the bottom every so often. Let some of the air out. I'm going to let some of the air out here so I don't let some of the air out, and then do it some more. So I'm squishing it, squishing it, squishing it, squishing it, squish, squish. Trying to break up all these big pieces. A whole strawberry would be enough for a lot of it. I'm using a whole strawberry just to make absolutely sure that this works. If you have rubbing alcohol, it should be in the freezer right now. Because otherwise it won't be super cold. The colder it is, the better this works. All right, I think I've got it about as smushed as I can. I'm going to push this all down to the bottom. All right, if you use a whole strawberry, great. If you don't, not a big deal. Okay, so that's step 1. Smash it. Beautiful. Okay, next step. We're going to take our buffer. We're going to add it to it. So I'm going to pour my buffer in there. Beautiful. Smells like watermelon and strawberries. Okay. I'm going to actually set up a couple things. First thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put this off to the side for a second, and I'm going to get my filter set up and ready to go. Now, I'm using a regular filter. If you have a small bathroom cup, about the little 3-ounce plastic ones that are a little bit bigger than this, great. The little cone filters work well. What I would do, if you have a piece of paper towel, or if you have one of these bigger coffee filters, here's what you'll do. You're going to fold it into fourths. So I'm going to fold it in half. Okay. I'm going to fold it in half again. So I've got kind of a plus side in the middle. Take my main cup. I'm going to very gently, and everybody kind of see what I'm doing, I'm going to push down with my finger until it's almost at the bottom, but not quite. I don't want it to touch the bottom. And then the top of it, I'm going to kind of fold over like you fold over a plastic bag on a trash can. All right. I might even pull this up just a little bit more just for security. Okay. So that's ready to go here in a little bit. So far we have mixed our buffer, a little bit of shampoo, a little bit of 10% shampoo, 90% water, about a palm, little small palm of salt, mixed it all up, set it to the side. I've smashed my strawberry one time. I added my buffer, and now I'm ready to do it a second time here. But now what we're doing is kind of doing a big wash and really big grinding. We're going to need that later. So now what I need to do is I really need to take this and turn it into a smushy paste. Now is when I really want to get the big chunks out of there if I can. This is where if you squeeze too hard, you're going to end up making a gigantic mess. You're basically going to kind of turn it into liquefied strawberry. Mine is really liquidy, which is great. If you squeeze too hard, it'll leak. Notice I'm kind of doing this on a cloth just so I don't make a mess and I don't get yelled at because, yes. Oh, I am getting yelled at by Mr. Floth. Turn your video on. No changing names on your screen. Your name only. I'm being the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay? Please don't be that person. Otherwise, Mr. Floth will come find you. All right? I'm just the messenger because, well, I had to turn everything off just so we don't use it. And then I get a whole bunch of messages and it distracts me. And I'm already distracted enough as is. Mr. Floth and Mr. Hobble can tell you that. All right? So I've got this all basically done. Okay? I've turned it into a strawberry soapy, soupy mess. Great. Okay? Now is when I need my filter ready to go, and I've got to be extra careful doing this. This is where teachers will back me up. This is where it gets to be the messiest. This is where it gets to be a problem. This is where craziness happen. This is where things kind of go sideways and messes happen. Okay? Hang on, I'm going to change something real quick here. That way, teachers, you guys can have fun. Actually, here, let me try this. I'm going to try something real quick. Hang on, Mr. Floth. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Huh, interesting. All right, so I can't do that. All right, I'm going to leave this here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully open up my bag. I'm going to put everything kind of in a corner. And notice I've got everything in this corner down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open this corner. So when I open this corner, I'm going to open a very small amount. I'm going to hold it kind of in the meat of my hand. And without making too big of a mess, I'm going to pour this very carefully into my filter without the filter falling in. Okay, and then I'm going to set my bag, I'm going to zip it closed off to the side, and I'm going to let this drain. I'm going to go get my ice cold rubbing alcohol, and then I'll show you what to do next. Luckily, I happen to have a mini fridge upstairs, which is great. I have a little freezer to keep this. Okay, so what I could do is I could sit here while this drains, and I'll be here forever. Okay, really, realistically, right now, I have plenty of liquid. Okay, realistically, I have plenty of liquid right now. I'm going to go ahead and open my baggie back up because I'm going to save the world from making a giant mess. Okay, here's the shortcut way to make your filter draining go just a little bit faster. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to unfold my filter. I'm going to kind of wad it up at the top. Mr. Hoppel, yeah, he is. He really is one of those. I know, it's an amazing concept. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully, without it going over the top, I'm just very carefully going to squeeze the bottom and extract as much liquid as I can. Now, I have a whole strawberry and a whole lot of stuff. I have plenty, okay? That's way more than I actually need. Okay, so I'm going to put my filter in my plastic bag. My fingers are going to be a little soapy and sticky. I'll wash those later. So now what I have is I have a salt, soap, strawberry juice little thing. Okay. Those of you who are working along at home, are you pretty close to where I am? See, some are working on it. Okay. Do we need a little bit more time, those of you working? Anybody need a little bit more time? A little bit? Okay, I'll give you just a little bit more time to get there before I show you what to do. This is a good time to go. It failed. Uh-oh. Wyatt, did yours fail? Did your thing break? Wyatt broke it, everybody. Oh, your coffee filter broke? Okay, grab another coffee filter and try it again. Even if it breaks in here, you can filter. Yeah, even if it breaks here, you can filter it again. It's not going to be a problem. If your coffee filter fails, grab a new one, filter it again. It's not the end of the world. Okay, as long as you can, if you have some chunks in there, you're okay. If you can get it without any. Oh, fluff. Oh. At least, hey, at least that is an allowable failure. Okay. Hopefully there's more crisp than there is strawberry. And was it you who made it, or was it the other half? Oh, yeah, that's what I figured. Gotcha. All right, actually, here I can do that. So I'm here. Those of you. Looks like most of us are there. Looks like most of us are there. All right. Thumbs up. We're about where we need to be. Those of you who are at home. Okay, good. Great. Okay, so I'm going to switch my video. All right. I'm back to freezing. Wyatt, you'll be able to catch up, dude. You will be able to catch up. No problem. I know you'll be fine. Deep breath. We're good. All right. Deep breath. We're good. Okay. So if we're back here, which I completely have the wrong camera. There we go. There we go. All right. So I'm back here. Now I have my ice cold rubbing alcohol right here. Okay. You want rubbing alcohol that's at least 70% or better. Okay. It does need to be ice cold because it works that much better. I'm going to really zoom in on this, and I'm going to kind of stay off to the side. Watch what happens when I pour this ice cold rubbing alcohol in. Watch the top layer. Oh, perfect. Do you see can you kind of see the layer forming on top there? Okay. I'm starting to get this weird bubbly layer on top. That weird bubbly layer is my DNA. Now I can only go in and do this a couple times. Ooh, look at that. Wow, look at that. Mr. Floth, Mr. Havel, look at that layer of DNA. I have a huge layer of DNA right here, and this is all strawberry juice. So, yes, this is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in like I am twirling some spaghetti, and you can only do this a couple times. Otherwise, it won't work out. I'm going to try to find a good surface to put this on so you guys can actually see it because it's a little tricky. Okay, I'm going to go in. I'm going to take my toothpick and I'm going to drag that. Oh, look at that. It all separated up perfectly. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this stuff that looks like boogers, this is your strawberry DNA right there. That is the DNA right there. So I can put it in that cup. It will dry out quickly. Okay, this is some more right here. And it only works for a little bit of time. If I twirl this, I might be able to pick it all up in one spot. It's hard to demonstrate it, guys, in the cup. Kind of see. I'm kind of twirling it here, trying to get all of that right there. There we go. So that is the DNA right there. I can pick it up with one other toothpick. This is a lot of DNA. I'll be honest, that's a lot of DNA. Usually I don't get this much because I'm doing it fairly quickly, but this is a lot of DNA from a full strawberry, which means I did a really good job with this. And that is what you're aiming for. It'll be kind of clear, it'll be foamy, but what you've done is you have broken up the cells using the salt and soap. You filtered out all the solid particles, and by hitting it with ice cold rubbing alcohol, you cause the DNA to grab a hold to that rubbing alcohol and separate out from the liquid. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is strawberry DNA right there. So if you have stuff that looks like clear, weird snot, congratulations, you did it right. If it didn't work out, maybe what you need to do is go back and try it again. Go back and try it again. There's all my DNA in there. I'll just kind of leave it there. Go back and try your liquid again. Now that I've used this, I can't use this red liquid. I can't use it anymore. I need to dump it out. Okay. I can't put any more rubbing alcohol in this red liquid. If I do that, it won't work. I've extracted it all. I'd have to start again, make another thing of buffer, smash up my DNA, try it again. The other thing you can try is you can always try a banana, see how those work. They may work, they may not work. They should work pretty well. I was going to use a banana, but everybody ate all the bananas here at home. Okay, and so that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that there is to building and extracting DNA. Why it says it worked well, awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop all of my